640. Attendance. First off, I just want to say happy EMS week to everybody. Appreciate everyone's participation in this committee and all the volunteer work that you do for this committee, but also in your day-to-day life. So I just want to say happy EMS week to everybody.
All right. Daryl Bailey.
Here.
Laura Brewer.
Here.
Emily DeBoe. Josh Gardner.
Here.
John Hanson. Here. Dave Hubble. Here. Mariah Hunter. Fiona Jarrett. No.
Here.
Riley Jensen.
Riley is traipsing across the UK at the moment. I am here in her place. Tracy Nurse.
Sandy Johnson. Jason Johnson. Morgan Kidd. Brian Mace.
Here.
Sergi Mays. Lynn O'Donnell. Jared Palmer.
Here.
Aaron Reese.
Here.
Tad Smith.
Here.
Julie Smith.
Here.
Matt Sproul here. Vincent and Gabby.
Here.
We'll go ahead and go a little bit out of order and go ahead with the audit presentation just so we can cover it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Nikki Mayers. I'm your external auditor. I'm just here to do a very brief overview of your 25 fiscal year financials. I already did a more in-depth presentation about an hour ago with your committee, so they got to hear all the fun stuff. But overall, the audit went really well. It was a little bit of an odd year for your organization, mainly due to the delay from New York State funding. They were pretty late in submitting or approving your final contracts, and then as a result, your submission of reimbursement of the expenses that obviously carried over. So your financials showed a deficit in 2025. It was about a $96,000 deficit. Again, there's still some vouchering being done because the way your contracts work. You have to spend the money and then submit your invoices and all of those things to get reimbursed for that. So the state is quite behind in paying you. As a result, it affected your financial statement performance for 2025. Your ending cash, you ended up right around the same. It was only an overall change of about $8,500. But primarily, even though your grant funding was late and behind, your revenue from, we call it your program revenue from your college classes, did kind of absorb some of your operating costs. So the net change in cash wasn't too terrible for 2025. What we do in our audit is we do a series of testing. We don't look at every single transaction, but we try to focus on the areas where we feel the greatest risk of material misstatement are. Revenue is obviously one of those areas because it's always an area for any organization, nonprofit and for-profit alike. So we did a lot of testing. We did a series of interviews. We do analytical procedures. All of those things we feel gave us the confidence to give the organization what's called an unmodified audit opinion or clean opinion. It's the best opinion we can give you based on what we've done. We feel that your financial statements are fairly stated in accordance with US GAAP, and that's generally accepted accounting principles. We did not uncover any fraud during any of the testing that we did or any of the people we interviewed. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, it just means we didn't discover it in our processes. Your overall net position, your net assets, I should say, there was a dip in that because of that deficit. You started out with about $508,000. We call that your reserves. That's everything that you have left over at the end of the fiscal year. You did have to dip into that to cover the expense, the operating expenses of the organization. It's something I mentioned to the committee too, because of the timing. I am curious to see the current fiscal year you're in, which is 2026 fiscal year, how some of that will shake out with, the state now catching up with paying you, assuming they continue to do so in a timely fashion. But the audit went well. I didn't have any problems with anybody getting any information, which was always good. Everything was timely. There was no hindrance in the audit that I did, and that's all I have for you. Unless you have any specific questions for me or anything you'd like to ask.
And why didn't you also consult an outside firm?
So you guys hire another accounting firm. It's the office of Terry Mahansky. She comes in right before the audit and she does what's called like cleanup adjustments. So she will record things like depreciation or accruals, anything that she feels will just kind of help the audit process go smoother, because if you don't make those entries, we would do them, we would do adjusting journal entries, but it just makes for more work and more time and it slows down the audit process. So you contract with her, she kind of gives a once over and says, okay, just make these year-end adjustments and you're good, and then they turn the records over to us to
So,
audit.
Fiona, I think what you're looking at might be independent auditor's report.
She's looking at the other required communications. Yeah.
So because we get monies from New York State, they have specific auditing criteria, and that's where Nikki also in the packet is a management audit, just stating that that we meet the grant requirements.
They don't have to sign anything, you sign anything.
Correct. We're the ones that give the opinion, so we do the signing. You mean as far as signing the report? Yes, that comes from our office. So Terry's office is more like if you were to have, so you have Crystal who does the finances, so she's your finance person. But Crystal doesn't record depreciation because she doesn't have the software to do that. So that's the prime example. Or accruals, anything that we feel should be recorded in the proper year end, like I'll use like accrued payroll as an example. You may owe your employees, as of September when the check date is, but it's actually expense that they incurred for the previous year. So Terry does those types of adjustments, get the books ready.
And this one, seems to get risk identified.
Yep.
The payroll could be understated, have not underestimated.
So those three areas are not, they're not areas that I'm saying the organization has a risk. They're in general. Those are the areas that we pay more attention to or focus a little bit harder on in our testing. As an example I used a little bit earlier, we're going to focus on your receivables and your revenue because for any organization, that's where the greatest risk material misstatement is. Anybody has an incentive to either record something in a different period to make their financials look better, or they could do an improper cutoff, like something that should be in this fiscal year, they push it in the other fiscal year. So it's just in general. And then the payroll example, in a small environment such as this one, payroll is usually at a greater risk because you only have so many people involved in the process. So we focus on those areas, we do more testing there versus something like your inventory, for example, which the balance is pretty insignificant in comparison. So we don't really beat inventory up.
So stated, estimated, there are different words in Roman. Understated or underestimated. There's the word.
Underestimate. Oh, is there a typo? I don't think there's a typo. Let me just look at that.
So you're asking how they saying underestimated versus understated?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just
Yeah, sure.
or understated, yeah.
Oh, payroll can be understated or overstated. Yeah, those are accounting terms. I'm sorry. I'm probably just going off on a tangent here. So yes, those are accounting terms. So yes, payroll could be either of those things because an overstatement could be somebody getting paid overtime that they didn't actually earn. Understated could be, again, a cutoff issue, like they didn't record the payroll expense in the right period. So, yeah. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're okay, you're okay.
Yeah, so those are just those are in general risk. And then the line at the very bottom where we say these are areas we feel, I think says require additional testing to support our opinion. Because again, when we say we feel like your financials are not materially misstated, how do we prove that to you? Well, we got to focus on the areas that are at higher risk. So that's all I say. Yeah, sure. Anything else? Okay. Well, thank you for having me. If you have any questions, you know how to get hold of me. Yep, thank you for your help. The box is right under here with all the extras.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
alrighty, thank you.
Alright. So yes, we do need to get that audit. All those in favor? Any opposed? Alright. Next up is minutes. Minutes went out, consistent amount last week, everybody had a chance to look at those, if so, can we get a motion to approve?
So
If there's no questions. Alright, all those in favor? Alright, opposed? Alright, wonderful. Alright, next up would be committee reports, secretary.
We received 2 resignations last month. One is from Gloria Taylor, resigning from her position. Wants to thank everyone for 30-some years of opportunity to learn different aspects of the EMS system. Another resignation last month was from Jackie DeShaw. I'd like to thank the opportunity for professional and personal development. We've helped provide for the last 20-some years with the courthouse. So she resigned last month.
I don't think we actually need motion to accept. I think we should, yeah.
There will be some, I believe, warning letters going out to some people. We've got some numerous absences, so.
River?
Well, no, it's not. On that, no, I know.
Stevens reviewed since the last time.
Oh, wow, it's not long. Yes, we do review the certificates of,
Alright,
Question,
yes.
$7,500 allow for doubtful accounts. Can you elaborate on that?
Same with undeposited funds for 360.
for Crystal.
I have loans for doubtful accounts.
These are the journal entries that Terry did, I
Yeah.
look into them,
That's
yeah.
your contractual allowance and the changes in the way that have to be reported.
Gotcha.
And accounts receivable, that would be, that money was received after, the money was received after Terry had done her work before the audit, so those journal entries were made.
Some of that also could be monies that are sent to collections also.
Training then.
So as of the last meeting, I had resigned as chair just for different reasons with being multi-college and things like that. I am stepping down as like an interim vice chair. Matt has agreed to take the helm for now as an interim as well. Really, we're not anticipating anything's going to change. Just I am not going to be able to make final decisions on certain things. Just for any perceived conflict of interest. There's nothing going on or anything like that, despite rumors of what people are saying. It's just a forecast of make sure things go through across the horizon. I'm going to defer to Danielle, who's got the classes.
You want to cover those in your report? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, she's next. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I was trying to make that good transition.
No, it's
That's all I have.
executive, we met right before this, we're going to meet monthly. We're in the process of working with LCC on the contract. Jared and I met with the college about a month ago. We meet them again about a week from now. Had to work through that, but a positive meeting with the college and the intention to review the contract, we're just working on some modification details to it, so. And then we do have a CON that came up in executive CON committee is working on. And we're also doing our due diligence and looking looking at attorneys. We haven't seen an attorney for quite some time, so I think we mentioned this last meeting, but if anyone has an attorney that they use that they really enjoy, feel free to share that with us. And also seeing the auditors, again, doing due diligence and some auditors for a number of years. And just looking at the price tag, just trying to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible. That's exactly public relations. It is.
Sure.
I think these got changes. It used to be you.
I was gonna say,
I
it's some
support change,
strong
but that's
number.
okay.
But, no, I don't have anything for public relations. I think last week that these guys have been sending communications out about it.
All right. Rena meets tomorrow.
Meets tomorrow,
What
yep.
is-
Last month, there was discussion about a couple of potential prevent advisories going out. One dealing with the use of VL instead of direct as a primary initiative. And the other one was the usage of lights and sirens. So the initial verbiage and thoughts were originally presented at the meeting last month, but to the rest of the docs being unable to read through the proposals timely, we table it until tomorrow.
CMS Council was last week. We have some updates from that. Let's see. So, as far as from CMS Council, they asked us to remind the agencies if you received the EMS mobilization survey for the July 2nd to 9th period, so around the 4th of July. If you haven't already responded to that, your agency has them, please do so. Even if you can't help or assist with any resources, just to answer the circle. New equipment standards, including a weight-based measurement tape for pediatrics on all windows, is going into effect April 22nd. Regulations for indoor build standards, blood administration, community care medicine are expected for public comment later this summer, so we'll keep an eye out for those. Systems Committee is working on a revamp of the CON process, so looking at 0606 and really trying to do a complete overhaul of that. So it's very, very promising to hear. I knew you would do that.
Right after
Yeah, but they
That's
are.
a process that's been going on
It's
for a
been
year
going
and
on
a
for
half.
quite some time, yeah, and it'll continue, it's not at the end, but it is at least something that's on the radar that's being looked at. There was some clarification on the vehicle cameras, and I know that's been a big point of contention. Just to put it out there that there's no current mandate for cameras for vehicles, ambulances have cameras. However, the EASVs newly put into service after October 2026 will be required to have the cameras. So not in ambulances, it's specific EASVs newly put in.
There's discussion, yeah. So nothing in your current fleet is required to have that unless you buy a new or used
EASV.
after
And then put into service after
October 22nd.
Right. So that was clarified. I know it's not the pre-hospital care research forum is going to be held again in June. Great opportunity for anybody that's interested in research. So that is available. And yeah, that is it. I did want to ask a question on how is the most useful for the members of the organizations to receive the minutes from the state meeting. So we go through the State EMS Council and then the CMAC, the Medical Advisory. Is it helpful to have distributed a full set of meeting minutes, or is it more helpful to have the highlights? And I'm just looking at the group. I certainly will share whatever if everybody wants. I mean, some of them it ranges from probably about 8 pages of meeting minutes. I just want to make sure it's the most useful to everyone in the organizations without being overburdened.
And the transcript pages can be.
And the transfer pages are available. I'm happy to do.
100+ pages.
I'm happy to share. I mean, I have the meeting minutes that I took, but I also could put that into something that's more of a highlights, if that would be more useful. And certainly ask, the again tomorrow, and see what the agencies, but I'm happy to do whatever is the most useful. If there's any thoughts.
I mean, 8 pages is not that.
Was that,
8 pages is not that.
that's for each meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not horrible.
Okay.
And the more information, the better. That's just me.
Okay. If people are
I don't know, really.
reading them, that's great. Okay, we'll continue with that. All right. Legislative review. Can we replace that after?
That is currently at.
Nothing to report tonight.
What's wrong? Program director report.
We participated in a recruitment retention symposium in Canandaigua a couple weeks ago, put on by the Department of Health. And it was attended by about 75 plus people from across the state. Some very good thought-provoking material. And they're likely to offer that again at other locations going forward. Continuing to work and process AHA paperwork in classes. We recently received price increase worksheet that their prices are going up, so that means our prices will likely go up a little bit to take effect on July 1 of this year. As far as how much they'll go up, is to be determined at this point. I don't see a huge increase, but there is some sort of increase because the last 2 years we absorbed the increases. And then work on the conference is never ending. We started the process already for our 2027 conference. Have many speakers that have already submitted topics and subject matters to speak at, and that submissions continue to come in. Vendors are already asking to sign up. So we'll be pushing out that information sooner than we did last year by the responses that we get. Cost will probably go up slightly again this year just because food costs are getting outrageous. Things are progressing with that. One change that we may look to do with the EMS awards submissions is to utilize the state's portal as the primary submission and then have them filter back to me because then they'll already be on the state's radar. Meaning we won't have to submit, we just have to give the ones that we approve going forward. They're asking for all that to be unified, and there was a discussion at the meeting as well to try to get a standardized date for submissions. They're even looking to look at the portal earlier than they have ever. So more to follow on that as we progress through that change.
LCC coordinator reports. So we're in the process of putting these other program like I mentioned the West. So far we've trained 129 preceptors. Just a reminder that anybody that has taken the new preceptor class in 2026 in order to be a preceptor, deadline is by June 30th.
we have a couple more classes scheduled. We have one tomorrow at East England, one on the 27th at Penn Yan, June 5th at Phelps, June 11th and June 16th at PNL Rochester, and then June 17th and 27th in Toledo. They should be up on the website, as it requires for you to sign up. If those won't work out, reach out to that email and we can try to schedule something. We have two summer classes coming up. One is an academy style class that starts June 1st, and that's here in Geneva. And then we have one in Canandaigua, which runs June 8th to August 20th. We have 3 classes that are approved by the state right now for fall. We have one in North Seventh England, one in Canandaigua England, one in Ontario England.
Nominated. Members resignation.
The committee met. We have 2 applicants, we have 3, but we're doing the 3rd applicant on Thursday. And the 2 applicants that we looked at were Amber McMillan and Robin McMillan. Both Amber and Brian McMillan are from Canandaigua Emergency Squad. For Amber McMillan, she's EMT basic. She's also regional preceptor BLS. And she's very enthusiastic. She has some hardcore knowledge and community-based service. She's really what she's really mass. She's thinking about taking the RN at FLCC. And she loves people. Not a lot, but she loves people. And really enjoy it. She sounds nice. She seems like a nice person. Brian Dylan was also a medical individual. He's a paramedic and he's an emergency squad. They are both AHA CPR instructors. He's also a firefighter. He's also a trainer, 10 to 11 years for various areas of the region that he's participated in different animal sports. He enjoys teaching. He loves people too. And aspirations and goals is to look into coming CIC to teach at the paramedic course. Other very good.
We have a motion to separately.
All of them for both of them.
Alright.
So,
Do the first motion first. Amber?
Sure.
I guess. Amber, so motion to accept Amber. Second, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
Amber will call Wayne County seat
Okay.
with a 2027 term.
And
Brian.
Brian, no, sorry. Who's motion, same motion? Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions?
And Brian will fill Wayne County as well with a 2028 expiration.
If you haven't already, make sure we finish. Any members of committees too.
It's in your local.
Aaron, something we, on our radar goes, as we keep adding people, the less chance we're getting forums. But
Well, we're not adding, we're losing. We're
Well, I know, but like,
same
we had
place.
2 more people tonight, we
Wow.
lost.
We lost 2.
We're only statutorily allowed to have 30 people total.
And this is lower than we've operated in the past.
Yeah. That puts us at 23 for our membership.
With notes going on.
Where, again, if we have, it is, it's a right,
It's always,
ebbs and flows,
we're about to go
yes. All right, thank you. Recruitment and retention committee. Is it even, what's Dave?
Dave.
Yeah. What's it?
That's not really sign for that.
Well, that kind of goes back to, we do have,
That being said, no report.
what's that?
No report.
There
Other
was
than
recently yes, there was recently a course that I did that John was on.
yeah, I was like too. It was I'll echo exactly what you said. It was great. It was actually really good.
And I think one of the things we talked about last time was trying to get it pulled up. I think it was North Country that was working on market analysis. They were willing to share, they were willing to share, but maybe we as we're catching up with some of the state reimbursement, then we can start moving forward with some of these initiatives, which I think are great. As
They're
far as-
well intended.
Well intended.
The state has put up some hurdles that, make it somewhat restrictive initially until,
Right. And financially as well, because the money, the expectation is
Yeah,
that
it's-
we output the money and then get reimbursed,
well,
which
and-
coupled with
right,
reimbursement.
and you have to come up with your plan, you have to submit it for approval before you can expend any money. And then expend it, and then voucher,
In talking at the state meetings last week, it was, I know a couple people mentioned it, I think you said two, maybe three, regions that have been able to utilize that.
right?
And I think there are a few regions that have more resources. So certainly
Yeah.
we intend to, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Suffolk County, for instance, I understand it's a larger county, but they have a staff of 90 people.
We definitely want to partake in it, we just need to have some of the pieces. All right, moving from the state. So moving on to new business, give us the rules.
So we have to approve, the award winners that we selected.
Okay.
Or presented already, in February.
Okay.
So,
We need a motion to approve that slate of
Great.
awards.
and that's to send those winners off to the state for consideration with the state.
Any questions on who those were or? I think there's 6 total. I believe there's 6 total. Motion to approve those and submit to the state. Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Alright. US minutes.
Yep, so, you all have flyers, that we posted. Our area hospitals are doing functions for bus providers that are open to, each and every one of you. Geneva General, there's no flyer for it, but they're doing on May 21st from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. They're doing breakfast, pizza, and bagels, coffee and fruit. And with everybody, Newark, we have a flyer who's doing a potato bar. Thompson is doing breakfast for dinner. And soldiers will also be doing breakfast pieces. So everyone seems to be on a breakfast theme this year.
What is the one from the day order?
From 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And I believe that's the same time frame for soldiers.
Thank you.
One additional piece for new business, more of an awareness. So the governor put out legislation at the end of the year requiring each of the county EMS coordinators to put together an EMS plan report. And so I reached out, so they have until, it goes into effect June 16th, they have until December 16th to have their report put together, and those are supposed to be done in conjunction with the Remsco. So I reached out to each of the county coordinators last week to seek an update. I didn't invite them to the meeting tonight, but at the very last minute, when I had asked for an update. So I just asked for an update of where they're at, knowing that this is out there, but the state Department of Health, or Division of EMS is putting together a template document that is going to assist in them building these plans. So I did ask for an update, and just so everyone is aware, this is something that we'll have to be working with them in the upcoming meetings, the 4 counties. So Ontario County came back with an updated date. Been in discussion with the county administrator's office. Seneca County said same as Ontario. Leeds County I did not hear back from. And Wayne County said they've been actively working. They have set up meetings with the Wayne County 911 manager, the county administrator, started reaching out to county EMS agencies, town supervisors, village mayors, and county commissioners. So I think they're definitely on the right path. Yeah, I think, and John's, I think you said he had, Wayne County got in touch with you previously.
And actually, many of the municipalities out there have reached out for guidance that, we're not able to provide.
And it is something that was put forward and put into effect, that the guidance wasn't available yet, so it is a challenge, obviously, the guidance doesn't come with what's required. So just more of an awareness that that is something that will be required of each county to submit to the state, and will then allow the state to compile a greater document that will show what our resources are, so we'll have more to follow up on it. Any other new business?
Yeah, just wanted to mention, many of you are aware that there was a paper released or an abstract from the DEA saying that each ambulance agency that contain or uses controlled substances will be required to get their own DEA license. That was premature, as you know, even though it was final ruling from them, neither the Bureau of Controlled Substances or the State Department of Health has agreed upon that. And you can't physically apply for a license yet. When you do, it says that your state does not allow that. Therefore, I may mention that we have a hospital facility in our area that gave an ultimatum to the ambulance crews, and Ryan Greenberg, the director of the division, has offered to reach out to them and tell them that they have to still provide narcotics to ambulance agencies until such time as further distinguishment has occurred. So that'll be happening at some point here in the future.
Any other new business? Not. We just had two enforcements. So we have John Jones from Remsco, New York, agency number 5929594. Started certification effective 2/17/26 for violations of the 10 NY CRR Part 800.3. That is one surrendered. And the second being Scott Sterling from Prospect, New York, agency number 23877. Suspended for 1 year, effective 2/12/26 for violations of the previously issued stipulation in court. Those are the only two correspondents. Nothing else. Our next meeting is July. Well, I know in the past we've not held that meeting, but I believe last year we had held that meeting for the CON vote, and with one pending, we'll leave the meeting on the books for right now, see where we're at with that CON, and if we need the meeting. If we don't need the meeting, we'll certainly let it roll out. But we not meeting in July, but we want to leave it just in case pending that CON action. Anything else? Otherwise, we motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn. No, second.
All right, all those in favor? Vote. All right, thank you, everybody.